Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing Nuke.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Jarmall Charlo versus Maciej Sulecki is being negotiated currently for the first fight on Fox's new deal with the PBC. And so that'll be a very interesting and good fight. I believe it'll be probably Jarmall Charlo's toughest test to date. A lot of people don't know who Maciej Sulecki is, and that's also a person that Jarmall Charlo didn't know who Maciej Sulecki was. And so that's a little bit stunning, I should say, that he didn't even know who the guy was, for the simple fact that, one, that Al Haymon is blindly negotiating fights for you, and you literally have no idea who you're going to fight. And two, is that Jarmall Charlo has to realize that he fought Hugo Centeno Jr. as his last opponent, and the guy that knocked out Hugo Centeno Jr. was Maciej Sulecki. And so you have to understand that there's levels to this. Anyway, let's just dig right into it in a potential matchup with Jarmall Charlo and Maciej Sulecki. Jarmall Charlo is 27 wins, 0 losses with 21 knockouts. Obviously, his last opponent was Hugo Centeno Jr. He stands about 6 feet to 6 feet 1. I had 73.5-inch reach. Now, he's a very big, strong fighter. He's not a guy that's going to be bullied and intimidated. So he does have good basic skills. We don't know how good he is. We don't know if he's elite or as of right now, we believe him to be a fringe contender because he did step up in competition against an Austin Trout, and yet he didn't show us anything special. He didn't stop him, and he didn't utilize any special boxing ability or skills. His head movement gets a little bit lazy at times as well, so we know that he's able to be hit, and his foot speed and his hand speed seems about average, and he doesn't use his jab as consistently as he should, but he's always looked phenomenal because he's always had lackluster opponents. He's never had an elite or top level fighter. Maciej Sulecki, in my opinion, will be his best fight to date. Maciej Sulecki is 26 wins, 1 loss, and 10 knockouts. He's not a knockout artist, but he does have some pop. Maciej Sulecki is 29 years old. He stands at 6 feet 1, and he has a 68-inch reach. Now, clearly, Jarmall Charlo has the reach advantage. Sulecki probably is the same size or a little bit bigger than Jarmall Charlo. His last fight came against Daniel Jacobs, in which he lost a 12-round unanimous decision. In that fight, he was dropped for the first time in his career in the 12th round. We know that Daniel Jacobs is a knockout artist at 160 pounds, and a lot of guys fight Daniel Jacobs lately to just survive. In my opinion, the top 2 guys at 160 pounds, aside from Canelo and Triple G, you have to throw Daniel Jacobs in there because these are all proven fighters. Maciej Sulecki is basically moving up from 154 pounds to 160. I believe this will be his second fight at 160, and he's already showed that he can knock out a guy that lives at 160, such as a Hugo Centeno Jr. Unfortunately, for him, the things didn't go his way against Daniel Jacobs, but he showed a very good and promising outing. This is a good fight to prepare him for Canelo Alvarez, a good step-up fight. Now, although Maciej Sulecki does not have the skills that Canelo Alvarez has, does not have the power, pop, or any of those things, he's much better than anyone Jarmall Charlo has ever fought. And I do believe that this will be a test for him. I think Sulecki will take him to either the decision, or if he gets knocked out, it'll be late in the fight. It will not be before 7-8 rounds. I believe it'll be way after 7 or 8 rounds. And that's only if Sulecki gets sloppy. If Sulecki tries to box power punch for power punch, then that could ultimately end up getting him knocked out. You don't power punch for power punch with big guys and bang. He learned that against Danny Jacobs. He tried to box him a little more, but took a little too much punishment and dropped him late in the fight. I think this fight, if he's smart, he won't take that approach. From Jarmall Charlo's side, he basically needs to use his jab and control the fight, and basically box him in circles and then use angles to get to him and get clean and clear and concise shots on Maciej Sulecki. Maciej Sulecki is a very good boxer, but once again, it's gonna be very telling on how well Jarmall Charlo does in this fight to kind of predict what he does against Canelo. Yes, I know styles make fights, but step up in competition makes fights as well. And this will be a huge step up for Jarmall Charlo. A lot of people write Sulecki off, because they're unfamiliar with him or they don't know who he is and they automatically assume, oh, he's a bum, he's a scrub. Watch his fights. The guy can bang. It'll be a very interesting fight, and I think he'll give Jarmall Charlo some hell. Once again, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.